That's where we'll know for definite when everything's been officially confirmed, but we're obviously going by the mathematics and the championship points table that we've got in front of us, taking into account the 6 dropped scores for the heats and 2 dropped scores for finals over the course of the year. And taking all of that into account, this is the mathematics I'm going by. So as things currently stand, Alfie Baxter-Davies needs to outscore his close rival Micah Taylor. And needs to do so by about 6 points, I think. Might be 7 points, actually, he needs to do it by. Well, yes, indeed, because the gap between them is 7. So he needs to outscore him by 8 points. A win with Micah Taylor, 6th or lower, would get the job done. But that is very tough to ask for Alfie Baxter-Davies, considering how great Micah Taylor was in the last heat. That win has basically kept Micah Taylor's championship hopes on track. And the gap between them is now 7 points, with Micah Taylor in the lead in front of Alfie Baxter-Davies. But those two drivers are fighting for the IAME Cadet title. Here we go. 8 minutes plus 1 lap will decide the fate of the WMKC IAME Cadet Championship. And whoever wins of the two of them, whoever outscores the other in this race, Alfie Baxter-Davies has got to outscore Micah Taylor by 8 points to win the title. For Alfie Baxter-Davies, it's mission go. For Micah Taylor, it's damage limitation and fight, fight, fight. But these two are going to be absolutely at it from the start. And the race has been set up once again. It's a complete regrid. Oh, and a spin! A spin in the middle of the pack there as the 21 goes around. Now that is Ben Folland, who I think got tipped into a spin. Oh, and another spin. We haven't even started the race yet. That's Josh Green. That's the championship contender coming into this round, Josh Green. So already a couple of... And there's another one. There is another one in the mix. Now, who is that? That is the 16 that's gone. And that is Harvey Jones. So, absolute drama. We haven't even started this restart yet. And there's 3 of them who have gone off before we've even started racing. Well, Macaulay Bishop and Leah Robertson will get their front row start. Alfie Baxter-Davies and Ella Stevens will be on the 2nd row of the grid. Fionn McLaughlin is there on the 3rd row, along with Hadi Mamasi, I think it is. No, sorry, 72, Luke Sidler. So here we go. Time to go racing, and to decide a champion. We are racing in the IAME Cadet finale of the WMKC. So out in front, Leah Robertson has bagged the lead early on. Ella Stevens is squeezing into 2nd position, but Macaulay Bishop's trying to fight back. Ella Stevens slots into 3rd position, decides just to let it go for the moment. Alfie Baxter-Davies trying to hang on to the leading battle and slots himself into 4th, 5th position, I think that is. Yes, 5th position for Alfie Baxter-Davies as Macaulay Bishop has an early look for the lead of the race. Yellow flags further back. Now who is that we've got? Spinning away down the back. It's not Mackay Taylor. Mackay Taylor's still in the mix somewhere. It's the 12 that's gone. Now that is Joseph Katsantonis. That's a real shame for Joe. But out in front, Alfie Baxter-Davies is in 4th position, trying to get himself further up the order. There's an off down the back straight. That's one of the evolved karts. I think it's Luke Sidler who's gone off and has dropped about 6 places. Now Alfie Baxter-Davies trying to get on the inside of Ella Stevens, thinks better of it. Ella's got nothing to lose at this stage and is looking good for an overall podium here at Whilton Mill. Now, where is Micah Taylor? There he is. The 48 has come through and is now currently in. Well, my timing screen hasn't updated, unfortunately, so I can't quite figure that one out. But it will eventually. It's Alfie Baxter-Davies gets 3rd on Ella Stevens. So that's an important overtake for Alfie Baxter-Davies. Now, where is Micah Taylor? He is in 7th position. Make that 6th as he makes the bold move on the inside of Leo Purchase. So he's got through at exactly the right moment. And that's an important overtaking opportunity. That's a really important one for the championship fight, because Baxter-Davies is now 3rd in front of Ella Stevens. That's worth 55. Up to 6th has come Micah Taylor. And that's 55 and 52 respectfully in terms of the points scored. So that is going to be enough for, I'm fairly sure that's going to be enough for the championship to go Micah Taylor's way. It's got to continue being this way, but it's not done yet by any means. But it is going to be tough, and if it stays like this, Micah Taylor wins the title by just 4 points. So Alfie Baxter-Davies has got to get himself into 1st position, with Micah Taylor remaining in 6th to win the title. But Leo Robinson and Macaulay Bishop are going to be very hard drivers for Alfie Baxter-Davies to pass. And then, of course, there's Micah Taylor trying his best to move up into the top 5. If he gets a top 5 finish, that will be enough to wrap up the title. So Micah Taylor just needs to get on with this. If he gets into 5th place, he will be champion. It's as simple as that. A top 5 finish would do it. Ellis Stevens is there in 4th position behind Alfie Baxter-Davies, who is getting on with this on Macaulay Bishop. Macaulay Bishop in 2nd position is under so much pressure from Alfie Baxter-Davies to make this happen. So this is going to be a really exciting run. And still they battle away for position. Still they try to get this race run. But it's all gone pear-shaped at the moment as far as Micah Taylor's chances for victory are concerned. But 6th position might be all he needs at this point. Alfie Baxter-Davies still there in 3rd position. He doesn't want to do this too early as Micah Taylor goes for 5th position on Fiona McLaughlin, and that would be enough to win the title if he stays there in 5th place. Micah Taylor has got himself past McLaughlin, and that would be enough. So an extra point gained there from Micah Taylor, and that puts him on 53. That really would be enough to seal the deal. The 53-point swing would be, I don't think it's possible now, because they would be tied for points, but I think Micah Taylor would win it on countback if it stays like this. One more position would absolutely cement it for Micah Taylor, no matter where Alfie Baxter-Davies finishes. Into the last few laps of this season. Leo Robinson now leading. Macaulay Bishop 2nd. Alfie Baxter-Davies trying to go for it. He knows that a win is all that will do when Micah Taylor is going as well as he is. Leo Robinson trying to hang on in front of Bishop. Alfie Baxter-Davies still there in 3rd position. The 5th place man, Micah Taylor, is looking good to wrap up the title. If it stays like this, he will win by 5 points to Alfie Baxter-Davies. But Baxter-Davies will want to try and fight his way up from 3rd position even higher. Ellis Stevens is in the mix there in 4th position between the 2 title rivals as well. And Ellis Stevens knows a lot about winning here, has done it many times in different categories before, but wants to do it in the final race of the season. Baxter-Davies has a look for 2nd position. That would definitely help out his title cause. But they come through once again. Leo Robinson, Macaulay Bishop, Alfie Baxter-Davies, Ellis Stevens and Micah Taylor is the battle in the top 5, and that's where the title is going to be decided. Alfie Baxter-Davies is going to get assistance from Ellis Stevens, who gets through in a 3rd position behind Alfie Baxter-Davies, and Micah Taylor goes through in a 4th position as well. So that really does cement it. Absolutely terrific stuff. Micah Taylor now gets through on Ellis Stevens. That's 3rd position. 2nd is now Alfie Baxter-Davies. 3rd is Micah Taylor. So Robinson in the lead of the race. Macaulay Bishop no longer in 2nd. Now down at the back of the queue because Ellis Stevens has gone through. Baxter-Davies is going for the lead on Leo Robinson. And that's enough for Micah Taylor to get through. Micah Taylor through on Alfie Baxter-Davies. And that will definitely make him the champion if he stays where he is. So Micah Taylor beating Alfie Baxter-Davies would make him the champion no matter where they finished. But Micah Taylor doesn't want to settle for points. He wants to win the last race of the season. Alfie Baxter-Davies is going to push as hard as he can, but Leo Robinson now stands between Micah Taylor and another glorious victory that would make him the IAME Cadet champion here at Whilton Mill. And he's going for it straight away into the inside of Ashby, and he's through. Micah Taylor has gone from nearly losing a championship to absolutely romping with it. And Ellis Stevens has had an incident. So Ellis Stevens is now down the order. Can't figure out what happened to Ella. She was in the top 5, of course. But now Macaulay Bishop has got through on Alfie Baxter-Davies. So Alfie Baxter-Davies is down to 4th place. But I'm not entirely sure what that means. Did Ellis Stevens go for a move on Alfie Baxter-Davies and it didn't work? We didn't see it. We didn't see it, unfortunately, on the cameras. That's a real shame. But Ellis Stevens has now dropped down behind the 72 of Luke Sintler. So that puts her down to 11th place. What a shame for Ella. I'm sure that in 2019 she'll be a title contender for this one. But Leo Robinson and Macaulay Bishop now stands between Micah Taylor and Alfie Baxter-Davies. Baxter-Davies has to win this race and hope that Micah Taylor finishes 6th or lower. That is looking less than likely at the moment because Micah Taylor is leading the race with a minute plus the additional lap in the bag. And all Micah Taylor has to do is beat Alfie Baxter-Davies at this point, and he will be champion. And that is where he is looking at the moment. But Robinson is going to try and get the victory. He signals frantically to Robinson, work with me, let's get away, let's get away. I don't want Alfie Baxter-Davies anywhere near me right now. Let's get away from the pack. Please, please get away from the pack with me. 3rd position for Macaulay Bishop. looking good at the moment. Baxter Davies is right there in fourth, just in case anything happens. And if anything were to happen to Micah Taylor now, Baxter Davies would be poised to snatch the championship away from him. He's got to keep the faith. He's got to keep pushing. We're on the penultimate lap. Anything can happen to these three up front. If Robinson goes for the move and Micah Taylor ends up tagging him, or vice versa, or whatever happens, then Micah Taylor's got to remain in front of Alfie Baxter Davies. So far, so good. Micah Taylor is looking good for the title if it stays like this. But one off, one mistake, and it could go the way of Alfie Baxter Davies, depending on how many places he'd lose. But so far, so good for Micah Taylor. He leads here with Robinson in behind him. He's just got to keep it going. And this is a beautiful end to Micah Taylor's season. A difficult start to the weekend. Alfie Baxter Davies originally taking the places away from him. But as he goes into the last lap, Micah Taylor has just got to keep it together for one final tour of the Whilton Mill circuit. And it looks as though he's done enough, but Robinson and Bishop will want to try and take one last victory away from him. It's how Micah Taylor responds to the threat. Up towards Ashby. Robinson will try. He's a racer. He doesn't care about the title. He's going to go for it. Micah Taylor's going to keep it round the outside. He wants to win the last race. They're going to be side by side. Robinson has to back down. Macaulay Bishop, they're in a second position, and that might just be enough. Micah Taylor seems to have held on to his lead. It looks good for the moment. But Bishop, they're in a second. He's going to be charging. He wants the win. Here comes Bishop. Dives for the inside. No, you don't. Micah Taylor slams the door shut. Robinson slips back through in a second place. Bishop's going to try. But what a champion Micah Taylor's going to be out of the final turn. Micah Taylor wins the race, and he is the Whilton Mill champion in IAME Cadet. Fantastic. Brilliant run from Micah Taylor. Absolutely brilliant. And it's just sinking in now what he has achieved with this race victory. It's just now dawning on him. He is the Whilton Mill Club champion in IAME Cadet. Great racing all the way to the finish. Alfie Baxter Davies through in fourth position, a valiant vice champion. But Micah Taylor had to try and fight to get his way up the field. Not only did he do that, but he fought his way up for a win. What an absolutely terrific run. And he is now the Whilton Mill IAME Cadet champion. Well done to Micah Taylor. Absolutely brilliant final race of the year from him. He needed to go out and put on a good show. Not only that, but he's got the championship. And look at that, high fives all along the pit straight. Micah Taylor, he might not even realise exactly what he's done here. He's got the victory in the race. And it looks like there's not going to be a front fairing issue. So it's all done. Alfie Baxter Davies, well, he tried very hard indeed. He gave it his very, very best. Hadi Mamasi, did I get a penalty? No. He was praying he didn't get a penalty. I love watching Hadi Mamasi. He's so much fun. He's a great little racer, and he loves his karting so much. He's such an entertainer. Well, a very exciting end, he decided. Sorry, no. By my math, there's actually just the one title left to be decided, because we're still waiting on X30 Junior, I believe, still needs to be decided between Caden McQueen and Axel Laflamme. And then, of course, there's X30 Senior. So, yeah, two titles to be decided, and they are the two X30 categories at junior and senior level. But we'll come to that later, because for the moment, it is time to head out onto the circuit in the next of our finals. And we haven't got any grid finals, unfortunately, to bring up in the graphics, but we will talk you through it as we go into each race. It is the X30 Mini final that is out there on the track now. It's obviously been a very busy race meeting for the X30 Minis. We've had some great action from them over the course of the day. And a very disappointing end to the championship campaign for Aaron Walker in his bid to close up on the title fight. But there is still a second position up for grabs in the title fight for Mini X30, because Robbie Stapleford needs to outscore Aaron Walker by just a mere 4 points from this last race of the year to snatch second in the Drivers' Championship. But Christian Brooks is confirmed provisionally, of course, as the Mini X30 Whilton Mill champion. So as far as he is concerned, he could just go out and have one final race, but Stapleford wants to outscore Walker by 4 points. and he will be the runner-up in the championship. So it'll be an interesting fight for those two. Here we go. Is it a clean start? Yes, it is. Perfect getaway out in front for Ripley, but out into the lead goes Freddie Spinlow. He beats him to the first corner, and as they go through turn one, it's a spin from Archie Walker. Archie Walker spun it on the background, just saw the back end of his kart coming around and up to the hairpin once again. As you can see, look, the drivers are on slick tyres, but the dew is coming in down on the circuit. It's getting slipperier and slipperier out there. As Ripley now runs in second, there goes Stapleford up into third position, up the inside of Ed Pearson. Aaron Walker makes his move on the inside of Matthew Hyde, but Archie Walker sadly looks to have been tipped into a spin through the first corner, and there's more trouble up at, there's two of them off, unfortunately, at Ashby. I didn't see which two, but we've lost a couple of drivers from the fray and have got going again. But it's Freddie Spinlow who leads the field in front of Zach Ripley and Robbie Stapleford. So far, so good for Stapleford. Walker makes a great lunge on the inside of the 12 of Jude Fernihoe, followed in as well by the 20 of Drew Davidson, who's fighting his way back through the field. But so far, so good for Robbie Stapleford. Aaron Walker's in seventh, and that is a disastrous sight for Ben Dawson. Ben Dawson looking, oh, a big moment there for the 12. That's missed his braking point completely, Jude Fernihoe, and tipped into the back of Drew Davidson. That's potentially a front fairing issue. So hopefully he's going to be able to recover from that, but a move up the inside from Louis Horsley. Horsley gets through, no problem. So there's Archie Walker trying to get himself back into the fray, and the 77 Ellis Bourchier trying to come back as well. But a really interesting racing meeting this is turning into now, because the lights are fading fast. And the floodlights are obviously up over the circuit, but it's tricky because the circuit is getting damper, and there's less grip in the circuit now, of course, because the slick tyres that they're on, because there's no rain on the track, but it's getting colder and therefore a little bit damper. So Freddie Spinlow leading in front of Zach Ripley. Third position for Robbie Stapleford. Then it is Pearson in front of Finley Dunn, and these two are having a great fight with Aaron Walker in sixth position. So again, Stapleford running in third position at the moment would be worth 55, and Walker 52. So that would put them dead level. Unbelievably, that would put them dead level. So they need to try and sort it out between them out on the racetrack, as they would be bang on 12, 20 points apiece. So if Stapleford can get into second place with Walker staying in sixth, then Stapleford would clinch second in the Drivers' Championship, again by just 2 points actually. So Aaron Walker still pushing hard. What has he been able to do on this lap? He's still in sixth place. Where is Christian Brooks, actually? I'm not sure he's even started the race, you know. Oh, no, he is. There he is in seventh place. My apologies. As Walker makes the move and gets up into fifth position past Finley Dunn. So that's another place made up there by Walker, and that protects his second position for a little while longer at least. He will be 1 place ahead of 1 point ahead of Stapleford in the point standings if it stays like this. So Walker just reminding the number 26 of Finley Dunn, just think about this, work with me and we'll be fine. But now the lead is being contested between Spinlow and Ripley. And if you're Robbie Stapleford, this is a golden opportunity to be runner-up in the championship, because all he has to do is stay relatively close to them and he will get the job done. Walker's going for fourth, and Walker's got it. Walker's got into fourth position. That's another point gained. And that is another critical point gain for Walker, because he's only going to lose one to Stapleford if it stays like this, and that will be enough for him to clinch second in the Drivers' Championship by just 2 points. If Stapleford were now to get through past Ripley, they'd be dead level again, so Stapleford would have to win to secure it from Walker in fourth position. So Walker is doing everything he possibly can. Really exciting racing, really good battles here in the final race of the season. Absolutely amazing. Really good racing and really good battles yet again. Spinlow, Ripley, Stapleford. Walker's now in fourth place from Dunn and Ed Pearson. Then it's Christian Brooks, the new Whilton Mill Mini X30 champion. But Zach Ripley is gunning for it, as so too is Robbie Stapleford behind him. Stapleford will want to win this race, because if he can, then that should cement second position in the championship. Ripley has a look at Spinlow, but it's not enough to go for broke. So Spinlow is hanging on to the victory here. Stapleford will really want to get this done, but behind him is his closest rival for second in the Drivers' Championship, Aaron Walker, who is currently looking at second in the championship. Stapleford's got to move up if he wants to be the vice champion. Third position is good, second position is better. The win will secure it. But Aaron Walker is still relatively close. There he is in 4th position. He's fought his way back. Just to think that Aaron Walker, this championship could have been his today had the first 2 races gone the way they should have done. He was looking at a win in race 1 until the final couple of corners when the back axle broke. And then, of course, taken off the circuit on lap 1. That was pretty much game over from there. But Aaron Walker could have been the champion this season had his day been a little bit more fortuitous. But he can still be second in the Drivers' Championship. He's just got to hang on in front of Robbie Stapleford. But Stapleford is trying to get the win off these guys, Freddie Spindlow and Zach Ripley. Ripley's going to have a look at Spindlow. Any opportunity now coming is going to be one that Ripley will try and take. And he's really struggling behind Spindlow. He's in danger of getting a front fairing if he gets too close, as Archie Walker gets a warning for track limits. So Zach Ripley's got to be thinking, well, how long do I sit behind this guy and risk getting a front fairing penalty? I've got to go for the move at some point. Here he goes into Christmas. Nicely done. Ripley is through. Perfect overtake from Zach Ripley. Expertly executed there. Spindlow's going to try and come back at him. Ripley covers well into Ashby. Stapleford's gunning for it, and he looks back and realises, oh my goodness, that's Walker right behind me. I've got to really gun for it now. And he knows it because Walker is the man standing between him and the Vice Championship. Here comes Stapleford. Spindlow trying to figure out where he's going to go. This is going to be a really nice end to the championship. Christian Brooks is just out there to have fun, and he's in 7th place at the moment, just in behind Ed Pearson. He's already the champion, but 2nd place in the championship is definitely up for grabs between Stapleford and Walker. At the moment, it's going to go the way of Aaron Walker by 2 points. But if Stapleford can get past the 2 men in front and Walker can't, then Stapleford will be the vice champion. It's very close indeed. Walker's going to try and have a go first. Here he goes up the inside. Well, that would sort it. Walker's through to 3rd position and Spindlow's through to the lead on Ripley. Walker's going to have another go at Zach Ripley again. We're running out of time. Here he goes for the inside. That's a bold move from Walker. Ripley's not quite held on to that, but now manages to get it knitted back on the exit. And that's given Spindlow a bit of a break. Oh, and Stapleford nudges the back of Walker's car on the way into the boot. Just about got off the throttle in time before any risk of a front fairing penalty, I think. So he's all right there. But it's so close. Aaron Walker now in front of Stapleford. That would secure 2nd position in the Drivers' Championship. Ripley just hanging on to 2nd in the race at the moment. Walker still pushing with gusto. Here he comes again. Can he get the move on the inside of Ripley? Not if Ripley's going to defend like that. Stapleford's still very much a threat in this one. He wants 2nd in the championship, and Walker wants 2nd on the racetrack. Ripley's going to run out wide. Walker's still got plenty of momentum, but still Ripley stays in front. And we're going to run out of time just as they come to the finish line. Oh, Walker tries again on Ripley. Here comes Stapleford, goes for the move and gets Walker. So it's back to where we were before. Walker tries again on Stapleford. Brilliant, he's over the curbs and just gets there. But was that too much curb to get through? Last lap. Spindlow's going to get a perfect victory out front. Ripley's going to get 2nd. It's anybody's guess who's going to get 3rd because now there's 2 more that's joined the fray. Dunn and Pearson are in the mix. Stapleford round the outside gets 3rd position back off Walker. It's critical now for Walker to stay in 4th position. He can't afford to lose too many places here to Dunn and Pearson. He's got to stay focused here. Stapleford does not want to be... Well, Stapleford will want to smash the position away. Davidson gets through on Pearson, and in the last couple of corners as well, Louis Horsley's going to make a move or 2. But the checkered flag is being prepared for Freddie Spindlow as Walker tries one more trick on Stapleford. Is he going to get the move? Spindlow takes the victory. 2nd is Zach Ripley, and who's going to be 3rd to the line? It is Stapleford in front of Walker, but that is enough for Aaron Walker to clinch the Vice Championship. So Walker will be the 2nd in the championship. Stapleford will be 3rd. And he's missed out by, get this, 2 points. That's it. Absolutely amazing how close that came down to. You gotta love karting. But Freddie Spindlow has done an amazing job. He dealt with the pressure cooker just at the right moment, made his move on Ripley. Dealt with it, allowed Stapleford and Walker to challenge Ripley. And then just got on with it in the last 2 laps. Great racing today from Freddie Spindlow. And I can't wait to give him his winner's trophy later on this evening. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Freddie Spindlow. Ends the season in fine style. And it means a lot to him. When you end the season as the winner, they always say Your win is only as good as your last race. There's no front fairing penalty for the leading two. Is there for Stapleford? No, there's not. Very good, very good. Exactly as it should have been. Great racing in the top four. And that is exactly how racing should be. Close, no nonsense, no holds barred, incredibly close, but clean and fair to the last. That was really, really good racing. Excellent. More of that, please, in 2018. But you're looking at the man who's won the championship. The 82, Christian Brooks, is the Whilton Mill Mini X30 champion for 2018. The season is done, and he is victorious. What a great season for Christian, and a great end to the year for him. Right, there's more racing still to come. We're definitely not done and dusted yet, because we still have 2 titles to fight for in X30 Senior and X30 Junior. Before that, let's go max racing in the juniors and minis. So the Junior Max and Mini Max drivers head out onto the circuit. A nice congratulations from Katrina Vincent to Aaron Walker. Well done, second in the championship. So nearly could have been the champion over the course of this last round of the championship if the luck had just gone further his way. But what a fight to be the vice champion in 2018 regardless. Really exciting battles all the way through. So Junior and Mini-Max are going to conclude now at the end of their season. Their titles have already been secured. Tom Adams is the champion in Junior Max. Marcus Littlewood is the champion in Mini-Max. But there's still one more race to fight for, and that is a race of pride between Tom Adams, Teddy Clinton, Will Jenkins, Matthew Higgins, Lewis Smith and Sam Sanders, with Kieran Kay, James Crossley and Tommy Edmonds in the mix in this final Junior Max race of the season. And then, of course, in the Mini-Max Brigade, we've got Marcus Littlewood, Ben Watts and Callum Voisin. The titles are decided. It's now time for some pride to be fought out on the circuit. So Tom Adams will go for it. There might have been enough points scored in this meeting by Lewis Smith to just overhaul James Lowther in second. No, not quite enough points for second in the championship. Lowther's going to maintain that. Here we go. Great racing from the Junior Max. The Mini-Max grid will get underway now. And off they go. And it's already a bit of a tough start, unfortunately, for Callum Voisin. But up to the hairpin for the first time at Christmas. And it's already a very tough start indeed up at the top of the hill. There's some great racing already as Tom Adams heads out into the distance in front of Matthew Higgins, and they charge forward. There's Will Jenkins in third position, but these two are in front. Adams and Higgins battling away for the last race of the season in the Whilton Mill Kart Club for Junior Max. Fourth position at the moment is the 32 of Teddy Clinton, so he's there still in position, gunning well. But Tom Adams running beautifully in this race ahead of the 75 of Matthew Higgins as they come off the turn once again. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Really good action as they come across the line. Adams is your leader. Higgins in second place. Jenkins is third in front of Teddy Clinton from Lewis Smith, Sam Sanders, James Crossley, Kieran Kay and Tommy Edmonds. Here comes Higgins. He's going to go for the move on Tom Adams straight away. And that's a beautiful move into Christmas. Absolutely spot on the mark there for Higgins as he gets through. Adams in second place. Down to the braking zone, careful into Ashby. Jenkins is still there in third from Clinton, then Smith, Sanders, Crossley, Kay and Edmonds. Littlewood is now in front of Voisin and Ben Watts. So the Mini-Max Brigade continues on their way. But this is a brilliant run for Tom Adams as he runs in front of Will Jenkins. But it's not quite enough to be leading the race. Matthew Higgins is your leader as they come out of the toe of the boot once again, dropping down the hill and in through the final corner. Matthew Higgins still controls the pace from the E-plate Tom Adams, who is this year's Whilton Mill Junior Max champion, but he would love to end his season with a win, Tom Adams, having had a very good start to the weekend already and scored enough points to eclipse James Lowther's total, who is not racing this weekend, being out in Brazil. He is obviously going to try and win his last race of the season, Tom Adams, so that he can end his year on the top step in both the race and the championship. But Matthew Higgins is trying to stop that one from happening. Really good battle, really good racing all the way through. Matthew Higgins is still hanging on to this in front of Tom Adams. Will Jenkins in third position. Fourth place is still going the way of Teddy Clinton with Lewis Smith and Sam Sanders. And then we have Crossley, Kay and Edmonds, who's still acquitting himself quite well as a Junior Max driver, having been Mini-Max all season long. Here we come into the S's once again through Oblivion and into Crook, up through Fine Lady, and on the power once again, the Manuel's bank. It's not a two-way fight anymore, it's a three-way fight as Will Jenkins is going to get up the inside of Tom Adams and get second place. Good run from Will Jenkins. He's been so strong this weekend, Will Jenkins. Really turned a page in terms of his development. This is exactly the kind of meeting he deserves to have. And now he's going to charge after Matthew Higgins. Are we going to see him on the top step of the podium in the last race of the season? He's pushing for it, and Will Jenkins wants to make it happen. Really exciting to see if he can pull off the job. It's a very tough battle in this championship. It always has been. Well, we're going to see some really exciting runs for the rest of this round of the championship. So the last race of the season. A bit of a warning there for Lewis Smith. Not sure what the track warning limits were for. Didn't see anything untoward. You've got to remember that before this weekend, Will Jenkins had not won a race in the championship, and now he's fighting for the final victory of the year. So it'd be great to see him on the podium with a winner's trophy. He's scored podiums before, but this is for the win on the inside of Matthew Higgins, and he's got it. Beautiful from Will Jenkins. Stonking good move there, and now Higgins is having to move to cover back Tom Adams, who gets on the inside, grabs that second place. Brilliant run from Adams, but watch out, here comes Teddy Clinton. Clinton is there on the Alonso chassis as he runs there in fourth position, trying to make his way through. And that's given Will Jenkins some breathing space. Look, with 4 minutes on the clock plus the additional lap, he's now got a little bit of breathing space. Is it going to be enough to disappear and hide? He's going to have to work hard for it. Well, what a battle this is going to be for Tom Adams, with Matthew Higgins swarming all over the back of him. Higgins comes again at Adams, goes for second place. Nice move. Adams is going to get it back on the switchback. What a move from Adams. Superb overtake. Higgins didn't even realise he was still there, and now Clinton goes for Higgins. I want to see that move from Adams again. That was absolutely rosy as you like. What a move from Adams to get back. That move was done from Higgins, but Adams had a trick up his sleeve. I really want to see that move again. That was absolutely terrific from Tom Adams. Just when you think he's spent for this particular battle, Matthew Higgins has a bit of a nasty shock from Tom Adams, getting him straight back on the way out. That move was done from Higgins, but Adams was very sensible. He read the situation perfectly, realised that he was going to lose the track position, but he got off the throttle and powered out of it nice and early, and that was what got him on the switchback. Let's have a look at that move again. That's the move of the race from Adams. Watch. Higgins has got him. This is a textbook overtaking move. Adams knows it's coming. He rolls off the power, gets back on the gas quite early. Look, and that's how he just gets the undercut on Higgins. That's absolutely beautiful. It's so hard to pull off that kind of move when you've already lost the place and you have to try and jink it back into position. That was such a sweet move from Tom Adams. No wonder he's this year's champion. But Will Jenkins is still trying to hang on to the victory, with only 2.5 minutes plus the additional lap to go. So Jenkins leads the way. Second for Adams, third for Higgins, fourth for Clinton, and fifth for Lewis Smith, with James Crossley still there in P6. But Will Jenkins has got to try and hold off the attentions of Tom Adams. He's got to hope that Higgins has got another overtaking move or two up his sleeve to go after Tom Adams, because Will Jenkins has yet to win his first final in the Whilton Mill Junior Max Championship in 2018. It would be lovely for him to do it in the final race of the season, because they always say, don't they, you're only as good as your last race. Well, Will Jenkins' last race could be a victory in 2018. Out of the top of the toe of the boot and cannoning through the right-hander onto the main straight. 1:40 plus the additional lap. Tom Adams still pushing. He believes he can get this victory won. He's already won the title, but he would like to finish his season at the top step of the podium once more. Matthew Higgins is right there in third position to pounce. And don't count out Teddy Clinton. He's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 46.48. He gets a track limit warning in the process. That's how hard Clinton is pushing. Lewis Smith isn't a million miles away either. James Crossley in sixth, and then it is Sanders and Edmonds from Littlewood, Voisin and Watts, with a retirement sadly on lap 3 from Kieran Kay. So we continue to push the battle. Tom Adams and Matthew Higgins trying to close up on Will Jenkins. A win is still on the cards for Tom Adams, and he knows it. So does Will Jenkins. Jenkins is just giving it his best to come across the line again. And so far so good. Track limits warning for Teddy Clinton again, I think, over the line. I think that's the first time he's received it, actually. So Will Jenkins still just pounding in the laps. He's got to stay hungry. He's got to stay focused. I think there's going to be 3 laps to go, including this one. But Tom Adams is still there in second. It's almost pitch black here at Whilton Mill. It's a very navy blue sky now, so they're obviously going to have to be focusing very hard indeed on those apexes. They need to make sure they're not being tentative. Tom Adams will strike if he gets a chance, and he is not pushing as hard as he needs to yet. He's letting Will Jenkins cut through the air. He's letting Will do all the work. Tom Adams is definitely setting up a push for the victory here. Out of the final turn and over the line, and there's going to be 2 laps to go. 5 seconds away from it, so tight. But that is really not good for Will Jenkins. He wanted 1 lap to go, not 2 laps to go, especially when Tom Adams is in this mode. Matthew Higgins gets his personal best lap of the race, though, a 46.47. But Adams has done a 46.43 compared to Will Jenkins on a 46.49. There's nothing between these 3 at all in terms of lap time. But has Will Jenkins got enough, as Kieran Kay watches on? Has Jenkins got enough to hold on in front of Tom Adams? Adams has just got to keep punching in those sectors in the hope that Will Jenkins can be vulnerable. So far, so good for Will Jenkins. Adams will need to come back from a couple of kart lengths adrift if he wants to get this victory, but Will Jenkins is still pounding around in good stead. Last lap, here we go. Can Will Jenkins get his first victory in a Whilton Mill Junior Max final this season and end it on a high? But Tom Adams, the new champion, is going to want to take it from him. Adams goes for broke, and Will Jenkins gets nudged, but Jenkins will not let him through. Brilliant. Jenkins is not going to be giving this victory away to Tom Adams. Absolutely terrific. And still they battle. Still they push it. Higgins is there in 3rd position waiting in case these 2 come off the road. Adams tries again. Well covered by Jenkins. That could have been his last chance. Jenkins tries again. And Adams is going to have to sit in 2nd place. There's a back marker in the way. Higgins is going to challenge for Adams. Is that going to be all right? Jenkins nearly gets crowded out. There's going to be a side-by-side run for the flag. And Jenkins just gets there. 3/100 of a second in it. Will Jenkins gets the victory by a matter of centimetres. Absolutely brilliant. Will Jenkins has done it. 9/100 of a second between the top 3 at the line. Oh, yes. Brilliant. That is an amazing way to end the season. Will Jenkins is the race winner, but Tom Adams, the E-plate, is the Junior Max champion. Let's look at it again. They were trying to lap the 16 of Ben Watts, and they just got held up. Will Jenkins trying his best, and look how close that was. 3 of them over the line. Less than 1/10 of a second between them. But Will Jenkins just gets the victory in the last race of the season in Junior Max. What a result. Fantastic. Will Jenkins takes the victory from the new champion, Tom Adams, with Matthew Higgins in 3rd, Teddy Clinton in 4th place, Lewis Smith is 5th from James Crossley, Sam Sanders and Tommy Edmonds. The winner of all 4 Minimax races today, Marcus Littlewood, the new champion, and then Callum Voisin and Ben Watts. Terrific, absolutely terrific end to the season. And for Will Jenkins, yes, he's there at last, a winner in the final race of the season. Oh, it looks to me as though Will Jenkins has been taken away from the top 3. That is heartbreaking. If he's got a penalty, well, that's a real shame. The other 3 behind him have all gone through. Well, it looks like a heartbreaking end for Will Jenkins then, because he's not allowed to go through to the top 3 positions. And I have a feeling they may have given him a penalty for something on the track. I didn't see anything untoward myself, but we'll double check that, and hopefully later on we'll be giving him a trophy on the podium, but we'll have to see. For now, the focus switches away from Junior Max and Minimax as we move into the next class on the bill. And it's Junior TKM racing once again. No championship to fight for, of course, but it is going to be a really exciting end to the championship nonetheless. In the Whilton Mill Junior X30 and Senior X30 titles, they are coming up, their season finale. And there's a title to be won in both of those categories that have yet to be sealed and decided. But Junior TKM is out there next for one final race of the 2018 Whilton Mill season. And we're going to get some really exciting battles from them, no doubt, after what has been a really incredible end to their season regardless. So we're going to get some really good racing from them. So they are now in position, ready for a good fight. And it's Archie Strong at the front end of the field from Scott Smith and Theo Tibbets. Arigis Yomantis is in the mix there with Charlie Flynn, Oliver Dilks, Ben Cox, Reece Miller, Jake Amasawi and Dominic Roberts, who's just hoping to get to the finish in this last race of the season. That's all he can hope for, really, at this point. But a really exciting end to the season it will be nonetheless. Scott Smith versus Archie Strong on the front row of the grid. Theo Tibbets and Charlie Flynn. Lights are out now. Good start from the front from Archie Strong, and through with him goes Theo Tibbets as they tuck their way through to the first couple of corners, through Oblivion, through Crook, and as they get back onto the gas again, through Fine Lady and up Manuel's Bank. Archie Strong leading the way from Theo Tibbets. Scott Smith trying to cover Aurigis Yamantis, who is there. Up the inside comes Oliver Dilks on Charlie Flynn and drops him to 6th position. Good move there from Oliver Dilks. That was a late lunge, but he manages to get the move sorted. So out in front, it is Strong from the Theo Tibbets kart, number 46. Theo Tibbets there in second. Third place is Scott Smith. This is going to be a good race between these three as they charge their way forward. Aurigis Diamantis is there in 4th position, right up behind Scott Smith as they challenge into the boot for the first time. They've got to be so careful because the track is changing with every lap. The circuit gets darker, and obviously that means the light fades, and the track conditions, the cold conditions, make the circuit almost like ice when you're on slick tyres. It's not the easiest of positions to be in terms of grip, but Archie Strong leading, Theo Tibbets in second. Then it is Scott Smith in third. Aurigis Yamantis is there in 4th position from Oliver Dilks in 5th, from Charlie Flynn, Dominic Roberts, and then it's Miller, Cox and Amasawi. But Archie Strong really going for the victory here in front of Theo Tibbets. Scott Smith in 3rd position. Aurigis Yamantis is still there in 4th position. Yamantis wanting to go for the move here on Scott Smith as they come through the left-hander at Oziers and onto the back straight once again. Yamantis is looking really fired up here. But at the moment, Aurigis is going to have to play second fiddle to Scott Smith in the hope that he can get a better run through the boat, through the toe and into the heel. This is going really well for Archie Strong up front, isn't it? He's nearly a second clear already of Theo Tibbets. So this is going to be a very tough battle for him, but he knows what's at stake here. He knows what he needs to do. This is still going to be a really exciting battle into the hairpin for the last time, as Scott Smith tries to get away from Aurigis Yamantis and get back onto terms with Theo Tibbets. Charlie Flynn is not far away from this action either. Oliver Dilks in 5th, Charlie Flynn in 6th. There's still a very close battle between these 5. Tibbets, Smith, Yamantis, Dilks and Flynn. And those 5 look like they're going to be the 5 that will contest second position in this race, because Archie Strong is steadily getting away. But if these 5 can work together and push onto the tail of Archie Strong, then it's still going to be a relatively close fight between them all. They come into the final turn and back onto the main straight once again. Archie Strong, 0.85 in front of Theo Tibbets. Fastest lap of the race from Charlie Flynn, a 48.79 that last time by. So Theo Tibbets running in second position. Scott Smith is doing his best to shake off Aurigis Yamantis in P4, but Oliver Dilks is still looking a threat in 5th position, and Charlie Flynn is the fastest man on the racetrack. A 48.79 from him on the last lap, which was nearly, well, it was just over actually, a 1/10 of a second quicker than Archie Strong. Track limit warning for Reece Miller, who is the leading novice at the moment, in behind Dominic Roberts, who has completed more laps in this race than he has done in any of the 3 previous heats, which is quite a statistic, and it's a very sobering one if you're Dominic Roberts. But he's on lap 4 and still going well. Archie Strong, Theo Tibbets, Scott Smith, Aurigis Yamantis, Oliver Dilks and Charlie Flynn as they battle away in the top 6. And then there is Dominic Roberts, who is finally running a kart that is able to be at his level. So he is pushing it hard to try and catch up with these guys, and if they continue to run in formation, there's a good chance that Roberts will catch them. His lap times are going much better now, 48.76 the last time by, but he's quicker than the 2 or 3 guys in front of him in that split. So Roberts is catching up with this field as well. It's not going to be too long before he's on the tail of them. So Roberts was a whisker quicker than, actually he was a whisker quicker than everybody in this gaggle. Tibbets, Smith, Yamantis, Dilks and Flynn. So Roberts in 7th position was actually quicker than all 5 of these guys. But Archie Strong is no longer as strong as he was in that first sector. He's gone faster than anybody in the first split, but he's a little bit weaker in the second and third split, so they've been able to keep up with him once again. 3 minutes 42 plus the additional lap on the clock. Not done and dusted yet by any means. This is not going to be easy for Theo Tibbets to hang on to in terms of second place, but Archie Strong is not safe and sound in the victory at all yet. Dominic Roberts still trying to chip away at the gap. He's good in the first sector, but it seems to be the rest of the sectors where he's not quite up to speed yet. And that's, of course, based on the fact that he hasn't done as many racing laps as the 5 guys directly in front of him. And that's how you learn how to get the gaggle a little bit sharper forward. So it hasn't quite worked out for him yet. But Dominic Roberts still pushing hard. It's really good to see him out there giving it some gusto. They finally got the kart working properly. Strong in first. Tibbets, Smith, Yamantis, Dilks and Flynn, then Roberts, and then it's the 3 rookies, Miller, Cox and Amasawi. Still no retirements as yet, which is very good news, because we had retirements in all of the previous races. Oliver Dilks made a very late lunge to go for Origis Yamantis. I think that was just impatience and desperation getting the better of him there. His eyes were wider than his stomach, and that's enough for Charlie Flynn to make the move on Dilks. He hasn't got through yet either. So a big moment there as Oliver Dilks just said, enough of this. I really want to get through now, and unfortunately he just left it a little bit too late to get through on the inside of Origis Yamantis. But as a result, it's let these guys break away a little bit, and now Scott Smith is thinking, okay, maybe it's time to go for Theo Tibbets now. I've just let the laps count down. If I can get past him in good stead, Archie's only a few kart lengths up the road. Time to get on with this. Watch Scott Smith go to work now. Out through Fine Lady and up Manuel's Bank. If he can get through Theo Tibbets relatively quickly, he's got a good chance to go for the victory, and Scott Smith knows it. He's had a really good season in 2018, some real breakthrough performances, not just here at Whilton Mill, but elsewhere as well. And Scott Smith is looking for another good performance here at Whilton. Up into Wilkins, dropping down the crest into Oziers, putting pressure on Theo Tibbets as they continue to charge forward. Here comes Scott Smith looking for a way through into the boot, maybe. Not just yet. He wants to wait for his moment. He's not going to go too ugly early. To the top of the toe of the boot. And then dropping through the final turn. Now Oliver Dilks and Charlie Flynn have been caught by Dominic Roberts as a result of their little squabble. So Roberts may get a chance in the top 6 at the end of this one. They're still going to push on and fight for the last few positions. So Archie Strong, a second clear now of Theo Tibbets, who's got a lot of a challenge from Smith. Smith is there in 3rd position, trying to get onto the inside line. I think Archie Strong has opened up the tabs just a little bit more, and that's enough to give him that little bit of a comfort zone that's not going to get in his head. So he's doing a really fine job there in the lead. But this man, Scott Smith, still believes that at least 2nd place is up for grabs. So he's going to push it as high as he possibly can. And he's going to give it so much gusto. In this last performance, this is Oliver Dilks trying to defend from Charlie Flynn and Dominic Roberts. Those 3 are going to swap off for 5th position. It's 3 of them battling away for 2nd and 3 of them battling away for 5th. But not too far ahead of them is Archie Strong. Theo Tibbets sets a new personal best as he senses with 2 laps to go that if he doesn't get on with this, Archie Strong is going to walk away and clean up. But he also needs to get away from Scott Smith. Here comes Dominic Roberts, makes the move on the inside of Charlie Flynn. Perfect, that's his first overtaking move of the weekend at the very last couple of laps of the race and the last couple of laps of the season as well. But Roberts showing what sort of flair he would have had the kart been more simpatico with him all the way through the meeting. So Roberts going well. This is a good performance, a good comeback from Dominic Roberts to never give up the faith, keep digging, keep pushing, get onto the pace of it, and it's a really, really good run to end his season. But for Archie Strong, he's now really opened up the taps. This is an opportunity for him to disappear into the distance, and he's going to do it into the last lap. The win is no longer on for Tibbets, Smith and Yamantis, unless there is a mechanical problem for Archie Strong. He's just been able to bolt away enough, but it's not that big a problem anymore. Into the final couple of corners of the race, Archie Strong still leads comfortably here from Tibbets, Smith and Yamantis, but Scott Smith wants more than 3rd position. You can sense that he's getting a little bit impatient, sat behind Theo Tibbets. Will he go for the move into Oziers? They come through Wilkins. Can he bolt up to the inside? No, Theo Tibbets is going well. But Scott Smith is going to try one more time, maybe into the boot. He'll get an opportunity. Tibbets knows he's there, but I think it's going to be done and dusted. He's not quite going to get close enough, and it's going to be a victory for Archie Strong in the final race of the season in Junior TKM at Whilton Mill. Archie Strong is victorious. 2nd for Tibbets, 3rd for Smith, and 4th for Yamantis. Oliver Dilks is going to come through in 5th position in front of Charlie Flynn. What's happened to Dominic Roberts? Don't tell me it's happened again. Where is Dominic Roberts? He's not come through, having been fastest of all in the 1st sector. Oh, his kart has broken down in the 2nd sector. There it is, he comes through. He's had a big moment in the 2nd sector by the look of it. I don't know whether that was mechanical or whether that was a transgression on the circuit, but whatever. Dominic Roberts, again, cruelly robbed of a decent result. Reece Miller is the first novice home from Ben Cox and Jake Amasawi. But it's a victory in the last race of the season of Junior TKM at the Whilton Mill Kart Club for Archie Strong, and that was well won, well deserved, and a really great result for him. Fantastic racing. Archie Strong never looked back from the get-go. Really good job from Archie Strong, and he's very satisfied with the way that's gone. I'm fairly sure I'd be too if it went like that for me. But now comes a big championship showdown. Senior X30. And this has been a four-way fight coming into it. Jordan Brown didn't show, so then it was down to three. Jensen Brown gave it as much as he possibly could, and then it became a two-man fight. And it's still a two-man fight right to the end of the season. How close is it? Just 10 points in it. Matt Armstrong has got to win and hope that Piers Pryor doesn't finish in the top 9. That is how close it is at the top end of the championship. But Piers Pryor is just one race away from sealing the title. And where does he start? Pole position. Game on! Piers Pryor and Luke Whitehead will start towards the sharp end of the field with Matt Armstrong in third position. One final dance around the Whilton Mill circuit under the floodlights to decide who's going to be the Senior X30 Whilton Mill Kart Club champion of 2018. And this is such a tough battle. There's going to be an amazing amount of racing over the course of the next 8 minutes plus one lap. And it's mano a mano between Piers Pryor and Matt Armstrong. Pryor ahead by 10. Armstrong has fought valiantly through the course of the races. He's got a heat win, so too has Piers Pryor. But crucially, the races he didn't win, Armstrong just lost a few more points than was necessary. So it comes down to this last race of the season. And for Piers Pryor, this really is the moment of truth. He wants to win this title. He's worked so hard to get there. He came into this championship weekend behind Matt Armstrong, has made the points work in his favour. He's dug deep and delivered this weekend. And now he's got just one more race to decide it all. Armstrong is there behind him on the second row of the grid in with Alexander Huang. So let's decide the championship. It's game on now! And into the lead already, Luke Whitehead's trying to come on to the inside of Piers Pryor, but Pryor is there, and Armstrong has ended up being impeded as he results in third position. He's now going to try and get through into second position straight away on Whitehead, and he's through into second place. Oh, there's contact further back, and that is a spin around, unfortunately, for the 76 of Ethan Ling. So Ling has gone off into the hairpin. He's going to try and get back into the race once again, but the field takes its way through to Ashby. Pryor leads, Armstrong second. Game on for the title. So if it ends like this, Pryor is going to be the champion. But what a showdown it's been over the weekend. And a really exciting final race we're going to get in Senior X30, especially with the new young kid on the block, Luke Whitehead, having stepped up to his first Senior X30 meeting and taking a win in his first weekend. Oh, who's that that's gone off at the toe of the boot? We lost somebody in the fray there. That is the 24 that's gone off. That's James White. So James White's had a moment there. In the haze of the night time, Pryor's pink colours almost fluorescent as they come up to the braking zone, and that is a move from Gus Lawrence into the inside line there of Alexander Huang, and that gets him into fifth position. So it's Pryor, Armstrong, Whitehead, Jensen Brown in fourth, from Lawrence, Huang, Matchell, Herbert, Koika, Torpy, Nat Thomas, and then Louis Short and Joe Weaver from Nelson King. So still some good action all the way through this field, but for Pryor and Armstrong, it's the moment of truth, and it's the battle royale they've been waiting for. For Armstrong, he's got to dig deep and stay with Pryor, but Luke Whitehead is giving him some pressure. Luke Whitehead is really showing him a clean pair of heels here, so Armstrong's got to stop focusing on Whitehead, and he's got to charge forward after Piers Pryor. He's got to hope that because Whitehead is just seeing what he can do. Oh, that's an off there, unfortunately, for the 29. And a change for the position, that's Whitehead through. Whitehead has got through in a second on Armstrong. That will absolutely seal the championship. Sorry, I got distracted by Henry Ayers going off, but through into second comes Whitehead. Whitehead is through past Armstrong. Now, Armstrong has got to hope that if he can tag onto the back of Whitehead, Whitehead is only bidding for victory. He doesn't care about the championship at all. He wants to win the race to prove what he can do at Senior X30 level. If Armstrong can tag onto the back of Whitehead, they can close up on Piers Pryor, and hopefully the race will not be lost. But look at Pryor, he's just disappearing out in front. The gap has opened up to 1.4. So Piers Pryor is looking good to run away with the title out front. He's just got to keep the faith and keep pushing all the way through. But Armstrong down to third position definitely doesn't help his cause. Whitehead is in second position, and who's that in fourth? That's Jenson Brown. Brown wants to continue to cement his third position in the championship. He's not going to score enough to outclass Mark Armstrong in the season finale, but he would love to end up on the podium at the end of the season. So it looks to me as though Jenson Brown is not done yet. The Dan Holland Racing driver is going to push Matt Armstrong all the way through. The Alico driver is obviously trying to stay in position, but Piers Pryor is out in front, looking calm and composed, in the lead of the race, exactly as he meant to coming into this one. He got a perfect start, and from there it's just been all guns blazing, but it's not done yet. We still have about 5 minutes if you add the extra bonus lap. Jenson Brown on the back of Matt Armstrong in third position, and behind him is Gus Lawrence. Then it's Alex Wang from Matchell, Herbert, Torpy, Koika, Short, Weaver, King and Kieran Jeremy now in front of Nat Thomas and Will Thomas. Then Charlie Koschel, Tom Fleming, Joe Ahrens and Harry Barlow in the top 20. So still a good battle between these guys up at the sharp end. Luke Whitehead running beautifully in second place in his first ever meeting as a senior X30 driver at Whilton Mill. Maybe coming out of junior X30 and stepping up to senior X30, he will really be able to show the world what he can do in 2019. But this man, Piers Pryor, is already doing so, out in front at the Whilton Mill Kart Club Senior X30 Championship. If only this boy had the budget to go to the Nationals, he would be absolutely fantastic. He just doesn't quite have the money to stretch to a national campaign. But what he can do when you put him in the right kart on the right circuit with the right competition is clean up. Piers Pryor's just absolutely relentless in the lead. Meanwhile, Jenson Brown's not in a safe position yet, because we've got Gus Lawrence there in fifth position, still swarming all over the back of Jenson Brown. That's not done yet. Alex Wang is not far away either in sixth position. There he is. He's still very much in contention as well. What about some of the other big names in this one? Well, Harry Torpy's got past Nathan Herbert. And there's also, oh, there's been an incident on the main straight. Is that Klaas Koika? Klaas Koika is out of the race, and that's a broken front stub axle. So big problem there for Klaas Koika. So he's out of the race, unfortunately, on the front end. So there must have been some kind of drama on the final turn. The Harry Torpy's up to 8th, Herbert's up to 9th, Louis Short 10th from King, Jeremy, Weaver, Will Thomas, Tom Fleming, Charlie Koschel, Nat Thomas, Harry Barlow, Joe Ahrens and Ethan Ling now in front of Brandon Hagan, Dan Seeger. But Klaas Koika sadly ends his season on a rather bum note, unfortunately, as far as he's concerned. Fastest lap of the race, Jenson Brown. He's dropping Gus Lawrence and trying to get back on terms with Matt Armstrong. So Piers Pryor on course for the championship. Jenson Brown wants a piece of Matt Armstrong in the hope that he can get there into third position. He makes the lunge into Ashby, and he's there! Brilliant move from Jenson Brown. And now Gus Lawrence is going to get through. The floodgates open for Matt Armstrong. Armstrong came into this round as the championship leader, but for whatever reason, whether it's him that's not on song, whether it's the kart that's not on song, whatever it is, he's just allowed Piers Pryor to take advantage and disappear into the distance. It's been a really difficult weekend for Armstrong. He's dug deep and delivered when he had to. When he needed to win his second heat, he delivered in spades, but it's not quite been enough when the chips are down. And Piers Pryor is going to take the victory in both the race and the championship, with a lead now extended over Luke Whitehead of 1.7 seconds. It's going to be Jenson Brown in third by the look of it, in front of Gus Lawrence and Matt Armstrong. Alex Wang in sixth position. But this man, Jenson Brown, has really dug deep and found something special to get into third position. He's another one who, had he had a little bit more luck in terms of the last couple of heats, I mean, he was up in the top 5 for a lot of the day. But that last heat, it all went awry. He could have had a challenge for victory himself. But Pryor continues in front of Whitehead. We're into the last minute of the season or so. Add the extra lap, of course, onto that. The Honda Cadet Championship final.